Greetings, Rawat. I accept the challenge. My appellation is Waya-Ahuli L. Um, the challenge is to, discuss the standard form 181 and how it has affected uh, my life from the time I found out about it to what is done currently. I first found out the SF-181 standard form 181. I want to say November 5th, and that's when I started receiving, where I was invited to my first webinar for Chief Nanya-Shaabu L. Um, on this webinar, I seen people filling out this form SF-181. So I didn't really understand what was going on. So I took it upon myself to look up this form. And when I looked up the form, and he's going through the form. Through the webinar. He's going through what you need to do, what you need to check off, and he gives full disclosure um, on any questions you may have on the SF-181. So basically, what it's done for me is giving me a proper standing in who I am in regards to commerce. When you identify yourself as um, Black or African American in regards to commerce, you're dead in the eyes of the law. So therefore, they can you can your contracts are void. You can't you can't really enter into contracts. They don't have to honor your contracts. So basically, you're just you're non-existent. So what that did for me, once I did my SF-181, it it was like a releasing a burden that was a heavy burden that I was carrying, and I kind of battled in between, being Black and African American and other at the time. Um, I would always say I'm American Indian, or I'm Indian and whatnot, but I didn't understand those um, uh, those terms, those racial terms, until I actually got a chance to look at the SF-181 and the definitions for being American Indian or Alaskan Native, also being white, and what it means to be Black or African American. When you have the American Indian or the Alaskan Native, everything on the SF-181 as far as the definitions of the racial categories have original peoples, the origins and original peoples, except the Black and African American. That one, I'll read that definition. Is to be Black or African American. It says a person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. There are no Black racial groups of Africa. Um, and all the other definitions I'll go through. American Indian or Alaskan Native says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintain tribal affiliations or community attachments. To be Asian, they even have a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinents, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islanders. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii. I say again, original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands. To be white. To be white. It says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. I'll read that one again. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Um, just alone those definitions, it gives you, it ties you to the land, it ties you to um, or original origins, original peoples. So it was like it's a no brainer once you get the information and you understand what you're reading. It automatically removes weights and burdens that you may have been carrying. Some you were carrying, and some you didn't know. So by filling out this form, it helped me to elevate my conscience of you know raise my vibrations, because when you're walking around, and if you know the etymology of the words, um, to be black means to be pale, to mean bleak, to be blackened, to be burnt, to be um, swart. All these words are negative words. They relate to death, so to speak. Um, when a person dies, they turn pale. Or you take black and you put that with dirty. Oh, that's dirty. So you carrying around these burdens, not realizing, you saying you black and you're proud. It's just I'm dirty and I'm proud. And no, I'm not talking about your skin color. It has nothing to do with skin color. It's about commercial status. And once you correct your commercial status, you you can now engage in commerce. And before that, it's difficult to go into, you know, anything with the right mind. So your vibrations are completely off when you try to contract with people, or you try to, you're getting pulled over with the police. First thing you think is, oh man, I'm black, I'm about to go through this, or and it's so once you correct your status, it's like certain entities can't even come in contact with you. I have an example of, to yesterday. I was taking a test for to get my electrical license, and you have to go through a series of tests and whatnot. So one of my tests, all day I had been sneezing and coughing, and it's just the environment, so to speak. I'm gonna say it like this: I wasn't feeling well. I was down, and I knew I wasn't feeling well. And it just was the atmosphere. I was whatever I was breathing in. Do you know the computer shut down? They shut down. I kept missing answers. It shut down right then and there. And wasn't it? I don't know when it came back up, but I went to the front desk and asked the lady, um, "Hey, can I come back tomorrow and retake this test?" She said, "Yes, that's fine." She no didn't ask no questions. I asked, "Do I got to repay to take it?" She's like, "No, I'll start you over from scratch, or I can start you off where I left off." And I said, "You know what? I'd rather just start over and have a fresh start." So I go in there and take that test today. Got a 91. But anyways, back to the SF-181. If you haven't corrected your status, your commercial status, you need to really get on that. This is something that's serious, and most people don't get the gist of it. So to better explain it, to get a more understanding of it, you can come on to the webinars. The webinars are conducted by Chief Nanya-Shaabu. He's very informative. He allows you to ask him questions. He's not like these other Moors. You get to ask them a question, they get to duck sauce. They get to moving around. They get to uh, doing everything but answering the questions. You can ask this man anything, and he will answer that question. And if he does not know the answer right then and there, man, he will look it up with you right then and there, and y'all will find the answers. When it was pertaining to the SF-181 or something pertaining to, the indigenous standing process. So I'm going to give you his email address here. It's atsikhataym@gmail.com. Let me make sure that's the correct. correct email address. Give me a second here. Uh, so that email address one more time is it is at sick hot at atsikhataym at gmail.com. That's spelled ATSIKATAYM at gmail.com. And you can get on this indigenous standing process, and like I say, it has done amazing things for me. Most of all, it's raised my conscious level. So, or excuse me, my vibrations and frequencies, because when you carrying around negative words, negative things is attaches to you. I know everybody thinks, oh, they put up the fist, and they don't understand the psychological damage that it does to you by carrying negative words, and the etymology of words, and why they attach to you, and why you can't draw positive things from negative words. So I encourage you to get on the webinars, and send an email to atsikhataym at gmail.com, and request to be on the webinars, and become white and American Indian or Alaskan. And if you're Asian, whatever, come on and correct your status. But for the Melanites, we are white, and we are American Indian or Alaskan natives. So come on in and get your status corrected. Um, and and the ride is on from there. It's a life changing effect. It allows you to, like I say, engage in commerce with the correct and proper status. You become white, white power, white power, white power. Happy Gador, happy Gador, happy Gador.